Hands on deck with evil dead chick. What's in store when you open the door? Step inside, my little ones. Bring your flashlight and good luck charms. Oh, and good luck charms. Oh. Might get dark. It might get scary. Maybe even a little insane. Crawl out from under the bed. Don't be afraid. Evil Dead Chick is here to entertain and thrill. Dead Eyes on deck with Evil Dead Chick. Let's hang out till the sun comes up.
VHS attack. In your living room, creepy little gremlins, oozing slime in your VCR, stacks of films to frighten and entertain, hiding in your closet and duplicating on your shelves. It's time to watch. It's time to be scared. Don't look behind you. It's a mess back there. It's a VHS overload. Don't look behind you. It's a mess back there. It's a VHS overload. Oh, 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 oh.
Oh, sorry, gang. This still ain't adjusted right. I had a little snafu. I was sitting here and I don't know. This still ain't right. I've got a big glare on myself. I don't know what's going on.
You just turn it like this.
I'm talking about there's a sorry, folks.
Let's turn the light down. Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. This light fell off right before I was getting it. Fell off of my desk. Right before I was supposed to go on here, and now everything's all messed up. So if y'all can deal with this, if it doesn't look exactly right, just for this stream, I'll try to get everything fixed up. I hope, everybody can hear me. If y'all can't hear me, I know you wouldn't be able to hear me saying all this stuff, but if y'all see my mouth moving and no voice is coming out, I hope somebody will tell me. So I don't know what it was with the complete glare on here. I think something's just not angled right. Usually I have it like this. Hold on just a second, folks. It just bothers me when stuff ain't right. I don't know. I'm gonna have to fix it. Thank you, thank you, Jay Duncan. um, so yeah, I don't know what in the heck is wrong. Maybe it's not moved back. I'm afraid to touch it because I'm afraid it'll just come falling off there again. Okay, that seems a little bit better. Okay, so Jay Duncan, you said I haven't watched a video in a while, even past on the Canon ones, even though I have a whole shelf dedicated to Canon, but couldn't pass on the subject for this. Have to watch it live. Well, thank you, Jay Duncan. I appreciate any and all support. So I hope that you enjoy this one. And again, gang, I'm sorry for that snafu. I was sitting here doing my intros, and the whole light just, my overhead light just fell. I've had my camera and my webcam fall off the monitor before, and people have laughed, but haven't had the light fall off. This is a first for that happening. But anyways, yeah. Well, at least it's still working. Now, my other one, the light went out, and Steve gave me his that was at his desk, and then he got a new one for his desk. So bless his heart. But evidently, over on this one side, it must have got loose. And I haven't even been fooling with it or, messing with it in any way. But, anyways. Hey, the poet. Jay Duncan, you say, thank you for the Tales from the Dark Side videos and the TV movies videos from a long time ago. Well, you're very welcome, sir. And I hope that's a sir. If you're not a sir, just let me know. Hey, I'm not a sir. Sometimes I assume things, and that's not, a real good thing to do. I assume that there are a lot of guys. I know there are ladies that watch me too. So if you happen to be a lady, just not a sir. Okay, thank you. So I will make sure that I refer to you in the feminine form. Thank you, ma'am, I should say, for all the nice things that you said and stuff. So I hope that this is interesting to you. Yes, exactly, the poet. Thank you for bringing that up. But very, very sad. But rest in peace, Laura Park Lincoln. Yes, Laura Park Lincoln was one of my favorite characters in the Friday the 13th series, to be honest. I really liked the idea of the telekinetic character going up against Jason. Yeah, yeah, Jay Duncan. Laura Park Lincoln sadly passed away. I think she was 63. I don't know if cancer had anything to do with it, but I know somebody had said that she'd been battling cancer for years. I love The New Blood as well. Yeah, that's one of my favorite Friday 13th movies. It's the one that introduced the world to Kane Hodder as Jason. And I mean, I must say, Kane Hodder is my favorite Jason. He is my Jason. He's the Jason of my generation, pretty much. Yes, great effects as well, even though the powers that be tried to, take away so much of those great effects. Yep, yep. Top Beekler. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Um, So I'm going to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, and then we're going to get to these VHS covers that I picked for tonight. I probably shouldn't be messing with this thing, but I'm just trying to get it adjusted a little bit like it used to be before it fell off of here. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay. So, first off, before I forget, me and Candace and Friday Foolish, for those of you that are avid fans of Friday Foolish, we thank you. Me and Candace love, 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 love doing the Friday Foolish. And we wish sincerely that we could do it every week. We're not stopping the Friday Foolish. However, Friday Foolish for right now is not going to be a guaranteed thing every Friday right now. And that's because I'm going through changes at work, changes with scheduling, wanting people to work overtime, wanting people to work more late Fridays. And that kind of puts a damper on things. Candace, meanwhile, is going through some changes for herself. She's a lot busier. And so, just what I can say is look forward to those Friday Foolishes when we have them. And they just won't be on a regular, basis. Okay. So I just wanted to get that out there before I forget to mention that. So when you see promotion for Friday Foolish pop up, that should mean that we're doing a Friday Foolish. If you don't see anything that week, then we're not going to have Friday Foolish. So maybe this will make people enjoy Friday Foolish even more. I don't know. We'll see. I know we have our fans. And both of us love doing Friday Foolish, and that's why we're not going to stop doing them. They're just not going to be as regular as they once were. So, I also want to show off for those of you that have been watching the stream and know about my Deadites on Deck shop, and you know about Poe, who is the official Deadites on Deck horror shop mascot. This is my first Poe plushie. He doesn't have all of his facial features on here, but he's got the eyes. The head is sewed on. I'm going to be adding another ear on this side because I didn't realize when I made my pattern how lopsided he was going to look, because in the picture, and this shows you how I think sometimes, in the picture you only see one ear, but Cinch should have told me that in reality, if Poe was, a real character that walked around and talked and stuff, he would have another ear on the other side here, right? So never fear, I'm going to make him another ear on this side, and that way he will be more balanced out, I think. And then he's going to get a nose and a mouth, and he's going to have a collar. I was going to use this collar, but as you guys and gals can probably see, this collar is way yonder too small for Poe, or for this Poe. So I'm going to be getting a 13-inch collar. I measured around his neck and know what size collar I need to get for him now. He will also have this tag. But this is not going to be a Poe that I'm going to be sending out to anybody. But this is going to be my Poe example. I'm going to be making one also that has a darker color fabric. And so when I get that one done, I'll be able to show you that one as well. But I'm just so daggone proud of the work that I've done on this Poe, and just wanted to show y'all. I'll show you his little feet and stuff like that. So that is Poe. If you go over to deaditesondeck.com, I have a lot of different shirts and hats and tote bags and mouse pads, blended tees. We got Booga Booga Bears. Well, thank you to Poet. I appreciate that. I did a lot of hard work on him. He's hand sewn. As you know, when I put them on the shop, they will be made to order. I'm not going to make a bunch of Poes and have them sitting around, but they will be made to order. When someone orders one and pays me, then I will start work on their Poe. Hence, that it will take time. It's not going to be like the shirts where I make them real fast and ship them out. He's taken over, a course of a few weeks to get him all together, because I have a job, and I have that regular 9-to-5 job that pays the bills right now. And I can't, as much as I would like, I can't devote all my time to the shop. But thank you, the poet, for saying that he looks good. There will be an RJ coming soon. For those of you that don't know who RJ is, he is the friendly Movie Munchies mascot. And there will be a plushie of him coming as well. And RJ, of course, is named after Kurt Russell's character in John Carpenter's The Thing, in case you were wondering. And of course, Poe is named after Edgar Allan Poe. And Poe will eventually, in an animated form, will be joining me sometimes on these streams, especially when I don't have someone to join me. So y'all be on the lookout for a little animated Poe to be joining me on some of these. And it may not be streams, it may be videos, depending on how I have to do these things. So, but be on the lookout for the animated Poe with his own little voice. He's going to be British. I've decided to give him a British accent, which I'm really, really, happy about it. That's coming soon. So head on over to deaditesondeck.com. Check out everything I've got on there. If you don't see something you like, or you're not a horror fan per se, that's okay. I have a handy dandy form on the home page of the shop that you can fill out and tell me what you want on a shirt, a hat, a tote bag, candle even. I've got candles. I think I forgot to say candles earlier. And if you have, an idea for a scent for a candle, hey, I'm game. I always love creating stuff and things. So you're not a horror fan yet, Jay Duncan? That's okay. Everybody is welcome here on my channel. Just because you may not be a horror fan per se, that doesn't mean you aren't welcome. And that also doesn't mean that you're not welcome to come to the shop. You can ask me to put you and your significant other, your kids, your grandkids, your pets, whatever, on a shirt, a hat, a tote bag, whatever. And as long as we agree on price and you pay me, I'll be glad to start work on your project. Not me. I love horror. Just hypothetical person. I got you. So again, that is deaditesondeck.com. I urge you to come on over. The Poe plushies will soon be making their way to the site. I haven't decided on a price yet. I'm still thinking about it. Jay Duncan, you say, I would like to think every person is a latent horror fan. They just haven't seen the horror movie that speaks to them. Very good point. Very good point. Exactly. I have thought along those lines too. Maybe they've watched, a bad horror movie, and that, and I'm not talking about a so bad they're good. I'm just talking about bad on all levels. And maybe that turned them off of horror or something. But, I also wanted to bring up Movie Roulette, since this is a live stream. So if you give a $5 or more super chat during any live stream I do, that includes this one, that includes watch alongs, which are technically live streams as well, then you can pick any movie. It doesn't necessarily have to be horror, of your choosing, for me to watch and review on an upcoming episode of Movie Roulette. So I've got one coming up for Jeepers Creepers, and another movie, Menelek, less Menelek's Heart. Menelek's always, jumping in there and participating. And, I'm not saying that you got to give money to support the channel, because as I always say, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you like the content I'm putting out, hit the like on the videos and streams. And and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the stuff I got coming out. Those things, folks, cost you absolutely nothing, and they also support me in the channel. So there's many, many, many ways that you can support the channel. It doesn't have to be all monetary, right? Because when people subscribe, when they like, when they hit that notification bell, when they share my channel with other people and they subscribe and they like and they hit the notification bell, that helps build me up in the algorithms of YouTube. Okay. And, gets me more people in here, hopefully. So again, I am not somebody that wants to get on here and beg for money. And I'm not on here to tell you that the only way you can support me in the channel is if you give me money, because that's just not true. There's other ways, just like I said. So just keep that in mind. But I do like to offer these promotional things like giving the $5 or more super chat. And then that way you feel like, hey, I'm getting something and I'm also supporting the channel. For people that like a little extra, with their support, right? Jay Dunn, you say, hopefully views will skyrocket once Canon series hits the big ones like Death Wish 2, Breaking, Delta Force, Runaway Train. Yeah, those are coming, Jay Duncan. Those are coming. I promise. So I'm hoping people are liking the VHS overload. I'm hoping that people have enjoyed the unboxings. I did a couple of unboxings lately. The Savage Debate, which there's going to be another Savage Debate coming up soon. So keep that in mind. And if anybody wants to be on here with me whenever I have things like the Savage Debate, the VHS overload, just let me know and I'll make sure you get the link and you can come on here and we can discuss all these things. So or for watch alongs as well, which reminds me, there are watch along movies up right now that you can vote on the next watch along. That costs you absolutely nothing. So if you want to have a say so on the next movies I do watch alongs for, please go on over to the voting poll and pick your favorite. That poll should be up until Sunday evening at some point. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to bring up, and I don't think so. So let's go ahead and get to the 1981 horror VHS covers that I picked out. I think I picked about 7 that I wanted to discuss. So let's go ahead and bring this first one up here. There we go. And this is for Happy Birthday to Me. And a little backstory on this. Whenever I saw this, does anybody remember when the grocery stores, some of the grocery stores had actual VHS rental spots in the store? Well, that's where I saw Happy Birthday to Me on VHS for the first time. And this is the artwork that I saw that has the guy being just about to be shish kebab to death, right? And it said 6 of the most bizarre murders you will ever see. That tagline combined with that image, yay covers, cemented the deal for me. There was no way on earth I was not going to rent this movie and take it home. With that cover art, with that tagline, and me being the huge horror fan that I am, that cemented the deal for me. And why? Because, like, what horror fan could resist that artwork? I mean, tell me, if you could resist that artwork and not rent it, let me know. Because the way the guy's looking and the shish kebab is just about to go into his mouth, and if you even if you turned it over and it would show you different scenes from the movie, that helps cement the deal too. But this cover art, when I saw that, I was like, yep, getting this one. And Happy Birthday to Me is one of those movies, of course, I watch around my birthday. I try to watch Happy Birthday to Me and Madhouse and Bloody Birthday, especially around my birthday, which is June 6th, by the way, in case anybody wants to wish me a happy birthday when it gets close. So, Happy Birthday to Me has Melissa Sue Anderson. Yes, that Melissa Sue Anderson from Little House on the Prairie that played Mary. And this was when she was trying to break out of that good girl role. She was tired of doing that stuff. And how do I know this? Because I read an article with that was an interview with Melissa Sue Anderson at the time that she did Happy Birthday to Me. And basically, she said she was tired of the Little House on the Prairie type of stuff. No offense to anybody that likes Little House on the Prairie. My mom loves Little House on the Prairie. Jay Duncan, you say, still sticking with the Mill Creek twofer BD of this, needless to say, missing out on the good art. Yeah, and the other thing about one of those releases, and I can't remember if that was Mill Creek or not, there was one release that came out, and it may have had similar artwork, but what they did at the beginning by putting some kind of disco song over top of it, it just did not fit. And for those of you that saw that or saw that release, I think that was a $5 release. Everybody just went ape when it came out because a release of Happy Birthday to Me hadn't come out in a long time. And I did not know about the replacing of the music and had this disco dance track over this girl getting chased. And needless to say, it didn't fit. And I was like, what in the heck? You know? So when a newer release came out, they got smart and put the original soundtrack back in there. I was like, thank goodness. Jay Duncan, you said the one with the VHS themed art is from Mill Creek, but it's not the 2-pack. I have what's been a stranger calls. I had that one too at one time, Jay Duncan. You say, I assume my 2-pack does have that music replacement. Yeah, it probably does, but that was a bad choice on their part, in my opinion, to do that. It just, like I said, it just didn't fit at all. Hearing about the music replacement gives you the incentive to upgrade. Yeah. It definitely gave me the incentive to upgrade. Okay. So anyway, this concerns Jenny, Melissa Sue Anderson's character, who we see in flashbacks that her mother died as a result of a car accident where her mother was so upset that she accidentally caused herself and Jenny, their car, to fall from a bridge into the water. Her mother is pinned by the steering wheel, and we find this out over a series of flashbacks. And Jenny was injured and basically was kind of in a coma for a while. But now, that she's, her memory is starting to come back in pieces about what happened, about her mother had an affair with a rich man. And we see in the flashbacks that her mother is upset because nobody's coming to Jenny's birthday party. And now, years later, after all this stuff is passed, Jenny's mother passed away in the accident, and on and on and on. Somebody is killing off Jenny's friends before her birthday for the year. So that's where we get 6 of the most bizarre murders you will ever see. And I don't want to give all those away. I would urge you to to watch it. I'm also not going to give away who the killer is, because it's some people have called it like a Scooby Doo type of twist, but I don't know. I like this movie. I like this movie a lot. Um, but like I said, I don't want to give too much away about Happy Birthday to Me. So we'll go on to the next one. I hope this doesn't get me in trouble with YouTube. I don't think there's anything really explicit on there. But this is for Campbell Ferox, aka Make Them Die Slowly. And I have a video store story to tell about this one too. When I rented it for the first time, it was under the title of Make Them Die Slowly. Okay. So not every movie that has this warning, this big red bright warning and banned in 31 countries means that you're going to enjoy the movie. I mean, let's be honest about that. But this one in particular, because of that warning, that big red, bright red warning and the ban in 31 countries, that guaranteed I was going to rent it. And this was my first introduction to the cannibal films. And the cannibal films might not be everybody's cup of tea, but Campbell Ferox and Cannibal Holocaust were two of them that stuck out in my mind. And this cover art combined with the warning, the banned in 31 countries, cemented the deal for me. I think this is the artwork that I saw. I'm pretty sure it was. You can see the Thriller video put this out at one time early on. And I don't think I need to describe the Campbell films. They are Campbell films where, I'll explain a little bit about the plot. But basically, when these Campbell films came out, the formula was that a group of people would end up in the Amazon jungles and they would upset, either they would upset or somebody else would upset the cannibals, and they would start attacking people and even attacking innocent people because they thought they were attached to this person that had really raised their hackles, And in this case, it was the character of Mike, played by Giovanni Lombardo Radice, very nice man who is sadly since passed away. But several years ago, I was doing a fanzine called Blood Type, and I got a hold of Giovanni and I interviewed him, and he just a lovely man. Nothing like some of the characters he played, especially the Mike character in Campbell Ferox. He was a drug dealer and drug user. He attacked these cannibals and did nefarious things to them, including cutting one of them's penis off, which leads the cannibals to capturing him and cutting the top of his head off and also cutting his penis off. And I, believe it or not, I asked him about playing the part of Mike and all that happening. And yeah, he was definitely not a fan of this movie. He did not like the director. He was actually asked to stab a poor little pig, and he refused. So keep in mind, if you watch this, it's not Giovanni stabbing that poor little pig to death. It's somebody else's hand doing that. Jay Dung, you say, still need to see this one. Great art. Seen Man from Deep River, Campbell Holocaust, and Slave of the Camel God, but not this one. Now, I haven't seen Slave of the Camel God, but I have seen Man from Deep River and Campbell Holocaust. And I usually think Campbell Ferox was kind of the balls to the wall movie. But Campbell, after watching Campbell Holocaust, I was like, whoa, but both of them are pretty, explicit and go places that some other films don't dare go. So Camel Ferox, you have things like a woman being hung up by her boobs, looks very painful, looks realistic for the time. Like I said, the Mike character gets his penis hacked off, and then he gets the top of his head sliced off, and his brains, come out. So, not for the faint of heart, definitely. But yet again, the cover art is what got me to rent it. Combined with the ban in 31 countries warning on there, right? So, typical well, maybe not typical cannibal film, but very exploitation level cannibal film that came out of the golden age of the cannibal films. So, anyway, let's move on to my favorite horror movie of all time, hands down. And people that know me and know that I'm called the Evil Dead chick, they know that The Evil Dead is my favorite horror film of all time. And I'm sorry for the blurry image. I was getting these images really quickly. Now, I actually saw Evil Dead 2 before I saw The Evil Dead. But when I finally saw this cover art for The Evil Dead in my local video store, I mean, look at that. You have, that's nobody from the movie, but this is fantastic. You have the bright red lettering that says The Evil Dead. You have a hand coming up that looks like, some, Evil Dead hand coming up around a woman's throat. She's going like this. Just fantastic. And as if that wasn't enough, the most ferociously original horror film. You know who that quote is by? That quote is by none other than Stephen King. I'm also a fan of Stephen King. So all of those things combined was guaranteed that I was going to watch this, plus the fact that I'd already seen Evil Dead 2. But those of you that have seen Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness know that The Evil Dead is much darker than either Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness. Okay? The Evil Dead is more straight ahead horror, but I absolutely love it. It's fun. It is ferociously original, especially for that time period. And how could you go wrong with actually watching a movie that Stephen King has put his stamp of approval on? Let's see. Jay Dundee say most movies don't have one title as cool as either of this movie's titles, right? You said what makes this art so perfect for me is the blue. The blue, the blue contrasted with both the black and the red, I think it's just perfect. You say in the vertical parallel of her arm and the creature arm. Yes, exactly. And in fact, I've done, I don't know how many of y'all have seen my mouse pad since I made it. But this is a little AI manipulation, and I apologize. I know how some people feel about AI. But I actually kind of superimposed a cartoon version of my face onto this creation's face, and I put Evil Dead chick on there. And it's just kind of similar to the actual Evil Dead cover art. So, anyways, just wanted to show that off. So, for most horror fans, I don't think the Evil Dead needs any explanation. It's basically what Joe Bob Briggs would call a spam in the cabin horror film. And what that means is you have a group of young people, they go to this cabin in the woods, and bad things happen to them. Very, very bad things happen to them. And how could you go wrong also with something that's not only directed by Mr. Sam Raimi, but that has Bruce Campbell as the star, basically, who Sam Raimi, you know, they're buddies, and he abuses Bruce all over the place. He's abused him in a variety of different ways over the years in different films. But nothing quite like The Evil Dead. And you can't, in my opinion, I don't think you can ever go wrong with an Evil Dead movie, right? Except Evil Dead 2013. There, I said it. You know, I'm going to be having a savage debate coming up that talks about the original Evil Dead versus Evil Dead 2013. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Jay Duncan, you say I've debated picking up that 3-disc set just for having basically this art on it. I currently have my Evil Dead stuff all combined with Army of Darkness Evil Dead 2 DVD 10. Oh, yes, yes. I have the Evil Dead 2 DVD 10 that I'll probably keep from now until forever. Hey, TJ, you say trivia. That was Bruce Campbell's arm when they took the photo that poster art was made from. I actually did not know that, TJ. Thank you for the trivia. I appreciate that. TJ's a resident trivia guy, folks, if you haven't seen TJ in here before. And TJ's also a good friend as well. So I always love seeing input from TJ. And Jay Duncan, you saying I have a completely decomposed Book of the Dead, The Evil Dead on display, even though it's literally falling apart. Yeah, I mean, mine hasn't fallen apart yet, but I would probably hold on to it just because I love it so much, even if it was falling apart. Okay, so moving right along to Halloween 2. Now, no matter what you may think about Halloween 2, love it, hate it, indifferent about it. I know John Carpenter wasn't a fan of it, and that's why Rick Rosenthal ended up directing it because they wanted more gore. You know, those of you guys and gals that have watched the original Halloween, John Carpenter's original Halloween, know that there was not a lot of blood and gore and stuff like that. When you watched Halloween 2, there was a lot more. They upped the ante, right? But I'll be totally honest with you guys and gals. Halloween 2 was my first introduction to the Halloween franchise. I watched Halloween 2 because it came on television when I was growing up. Usually around Halloween time, you know. I'd have a whole week of nothing but horror movies, and I was just in heaven. Halloween 2 was usually one, Friday 13th Part 3, Firestarter, stuff like that, Silver Bullet. So, and I got a story to tell about this. Halloween 2, and you can see the skeleton pumpkin on there. That is just absolutely awesome. And in fact, I don't know how many of you guys and gals got one of these, but recently, in the past year, Spirit Halloween had this, and I was like, I have to get it. Now, this does not have the actual VHS in it, but it has some, it looks like a VHS on the inside of it, but inside is a bunch of collectible stuff. So you get a patch, you get a button, you get a decal, and a lanyard. But, I mean, otherwise, it looks like the clamshell, you know, VHS for Halloween 2, except you have the Spirit Halloween home video there. And the reason why I had to get that was because I've always been in love with this cover art here. Jay Dungy said, yes, love this cover. The skulking, yeah, exactly. The skulking. That pretty much seals the deal for a lot of people is this. But a little story to tell you when Howling 2 played several times on television. When I was still living at home with my parents as a young horror fan, whenever Halloween 2 would come on, I had to watch it. I know they cut it and stuff like that for TV. But in my neck of the woods, there was Channel 44. And what Channel 44 would do is they would show a horror movie sometimes on Friday night during prime time. And then the following Saturday, they would show it like at noon, or around noon. Okay. So me and my family, including my brother, who's 6 years younger than me, we're sitting around and mom and dad, or dad probably, was turning to the channels and Halloween 2 was coming on. I was like, all right, Halloween 2. My brother had a complete freak out when it got to the skulking, as Jay Duncan said. And it was opening up and stuff like that. My brother started screaming and hollering. I was never so mad at him in my entire life. And here's what made me even madder, because mom had to ask dad to turn it. And then the next day, it came on at 12. He sat there and watched the whole daggone thing, never made a peep. And also, I think that same weekend, we watched Hellraiser. Okay? Hellraiser Halloween 2. It's no contest. They really ratcheted up the violence in Hellraiser 2. Let's see. Jay Dunn, you say, my fortunate find with this art was a video store basically gave me a water damaged copy of the original Laserdisc. Oh, wow. That's awesome. And Jay Duncan, you also say, never warmed to the movie Halloween 2. So many times I try to persuade myself, maybe I'll like it, but I always end up not liking it. On paper, I think it should be great just as a sum of its parts. And I get that. Some people just aren't fans of Halloween 2. I always enjoyed it. I don't know if a lot of it's nostalgia from, seeing it as a kid over and over and over again. Growing up, and then actually getting to see it in full on a VHS. But that, either if you love it, you dislike it, you hate it, you're indifferent about it, everybody I think could agree that is still fantastic cover art, which is why I wanted to include it on tonight's edition of VHS Overload. Hey, Tom. Tom, you say the British channel Video Tasties just did the same stream, but had VHS covers of 1984. Yeah, I'm going to be getting to 1984. I'm going to try to do all the 80s VHS covers for horror films, or at least the ones that I remember really, really liking. All right. So, next one, we've got about 3 more, folks, to talk about tonight. All right. So, this is Miss 45, directed by Abel Ferreira. This is the actual cover art I saw. I had heard about this movie, but never saw it, and a local video store many, many moons ago was selling this. I guess it didn't get rented a lot, or it was getting old. And this is the cover that I saw. There is another, slightly flashier cover, but there was something about this red hue to it, the Miss 45 with the bullets, the bullet holes around it, the main character pointing the gun. I mean, all of that combined, and I bought it. It didn't cost me that much. I think it was under $10. And I took it home and I watched it and I fell in love with it. This is one of those a woman gets attacked, and you know what way I'm talking about. And this poor girl gets attacked multiple times in one day and goes vigilante against all men, basically. And it culminates in a Halloween party where, I kid you not, folks, she is dressed as a nun, has a gun hidden under her nun habit, takes it out, and, shoots a bunch of people. Um, Jay Duncan, you say Miss 45 weird movie went in a different direction than I expected. It's not for everybody, but I have seen several of these. Some that people would be like, as a woman, why would you want to watch this stuff? Miss 45, I Spit on Your Grave, Thriller, A Cruel Picture, and yes, I have seen the full version of Thriller, A Cruel Picture, but with the porno inserts. That's not Christina Lindbergh. Um, but after watching that version of it, I really don't think it adds anything to the film. Some people might think it does, but I think I could, forever and ever could watch it without those inserts. Savage Streets is another good one, Jay Duncan. Tommy said, "Oh yes, that actress ended dramatically. Overdose. Yes, yes. Unfortunately, she did. She was in another movie. Oh gosh, what was the name of that movie? I have it. I'm totally forgetting. If somebody else remembers Zoe Tamerlane being in another horror movie, just remind me of that. I know I got it on DVD. I'm just forgetting." And Jay Duncan, you say you think it was, I think I was expecting it to be more like Savage Streets. Yeah, not like Savage Streets at all. So, yeah, if you're looking for Savage Streets or a similarity to Savage Streets with Miss 45, yeah, you're going to be disappointed. So, this is more like, to me, it's kind of like a Death Wish type scenario. Only in Death Wish, Charles Bronson's character is just getting revenge for his wife who is murdered and his daughter who is attacked and traumatized. In this one, Thana, the main character in this, is a mute garment worker who is attacked twice in the same day, and just cannot deal with it. And the guy that attacks her in her own apartment, she ends up cutting that guy up and farming him out in trash bags. Let's see. Death Wish, good comparison. Yeah, I mean, she's like, to me, a female version of Charles Bronson in Miss 45. Jay Dungy said, because both movies suggest the protagonist kind of goes off the rails. Yeah, exactly. They just cannot deal with the trauma. I mean, I wouldn't want to find out, but I don't think I could deal with that kind of trauma. So, again, this cover art, as well as the alternate cover art, and I don't have that, sadly, but if you look up Miss 45 VHS cover art, you should be able to see both. But I wanted to include this one because this is the cover art that got me to buy this used copy of this movie from my local video store. And I've been a fan, dare I say, I've been a fan of Miss 45 for years. And Steve knew that, and he got me a Blu-ray of this a few years back. And he said, "You're going to go ape over this." And I was excited because I finally got to watch Miss 45 in a cleaned up version. So that is Miss 45. We've got a couple more here, folks. All right. Now, this is My Bloody Valentine. One of my favorite, all-time favorite Canadian slashers. It's a holiday slasher. I watch it every year around Valentine's Day, plus, anytime I feel like watching it. But I have always, always, always loved this cover art. It's another one I just cannot resist. The creepy looking miner with the blood on the breathing apparatus hose in the front of the mask. And also in the light on the miner's helmet, you see the people that they're going to kill dancing at a Valentine's party. So really, it's stark, it's in your face, but I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Oh, hey, Mike. You said good evening. It's me, Evil Mike. Well, welcome, Evil Mike. Jay Duncan, you say, I had an option to see Miss 45 in college in 2008 and passed. Didn't see it until I got the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray in the mid 2010s. Okay, cool. Jay Duncan, you say, My Bloody Valentine, iconic movie, iconic art. I agree. I have the Scream Factory Blu-ray Steelbook with the terrible garbage art. Yeah, I mean, I prefer this. This is exceptional artwork, and it's what I would always want to return to. Is this artwork right here. And this is the artwork, the great artwork that was also on the poster as well, like the original posters for it. So, this definitely got me to watch it first time out. There's no doubt about it. It's another one, like I said, I could not resist watching after seeing that cover art. And so, if you've never seen My Bloody Valentine, it may seem like standard slasher to some, but this is when the Canadians were on fire, in my opinion, as far as making, the slasher films. And George Mihalka directed this and did an exceptional job. Has a fantastic cast in it. And yeah, what else can I say about it? Just if you've never seen My Bloody Valentine, please try to find a free version and check this movie out. Okay, so I think I just got one more to talk about tonight. I've almost been on here for an hour. All right, this is Scanners. And Scanners, I'm thinking, is another Canadian-made movie. And some people might say, well, Scanners ain't really horror. Well, okay, maybe horror and sci-fi. But you have the guy on the front who look at his eyes are white. It looks like his head's going to explode. And people's heads do explode in this. Okay. And we have the 10 seconds. The pain begins. 15 seconds. You can't breathe. 20 seconds. You explode. And I remember seeing this cover art. Again, could not resist checking this movie out after seeing that cover art. And when that first head explosion happened in this, I was like, holy cow, this movie is going to grab me by the throat and not let me go. And it certainly did, and took me for one hell of a ride. Scanners is one that I can recommend. I will recommend. If you've not seen it, I urge you to seek it out for a free version, of course. But it basically concerns people with powers, and there are good people with these powers to make people's heads explode, and there are good people, and there are bad people that can do this, that have the same power, right? So, yeah, fantastic film. I love it. Um, I still appreciate it to this day. Um, and again, if you've never seen Scanners, I urge you to seek out for a free copy. I mean, don't plunk down hard earned money for any of these films, folks, if you've not seen them. But if you can find it for a free version, please check any and all of these out, right? Um, let's see. Tom, you say iconic poster. Exactly. Iconic poster as well. Jay Duncan, you say, I love the text breaking down the seconds, like the Close Encounters poster that defines first kind, etc. Oh, yeah, Tom. Michael Ironside. And by the way, that is Michael Ironside's character on the cover, folks. Yeah, I love Michael Ironside, even though most of the time he plays bad characters, bad dudes in movies, and sleazy dudes in movies. For instance, Visiting Hours. If you've never seen Visiting Hours, be prepared for all kinds of bad, scary Michael Ironside. The soundtrack was great too. Exactly, Tom. Hey, Coco. So Scanners ain't horror my ass. That head explosion tore me up. I was about 4 or 5 when I said, "Oh, holy cow!" No, I was older than that. I immediately started crying. I had no business seeing that movie at that age. Probably not, Coco. Thankfully, I watched it when I was a little bit older than that. Jennifer O'Neill was very attractive in this movie. Tore me up. I mean to say, well, yeah. I mean, a lot of these movies that I'm talking about in this series, especially, are not for the faint of heart. I ain't even gonna lie. And I'm not going to tell people what to let their kids watch and what not to let their kids watch. My parents didn't restrict me very much growing up, except for things like I Spit on Your Grave, Last House on the Left, stuff like that, which really, folks, I'm thankful that they limited me on seeing those. But most other things that were like purely horror and not exploitation, they would let me watch it. But they knew my limits, you know. My parents were ever present, especially my mom. So they knew what I could take and what I couldn't take, right? So anyway, I guess that is it. I've been on here for a little over an hour talking about 7 or so VHS covers. I hope you guys and gals have enjoyed this tonight, and there will be more forthcoming. I'm really enjoying doing the VHS overload, and there will be other things that have to do with VHS. I'm not just going to do VHS covers. When I finish VHS covers, we'll do something else VHS related. Oh, you're very welcome, Jay Duncan. You say thank you for the covers. Tommy say, I just looked it up and I'm surprised Scanners was not rated one in the USA and Canada. Yeah, I mean, you didn't, especially during that time period, you didn't get a lot of unrated stuff. Mikey said, I like Scanners that blew up really good. Exactly. All right, gang. Well, I want to thank everybody, Tom, Coco, Jay Duncan, Mike. I want to make sure I didn't forget anybody. TJ, for joining me tonight for this edition, the poet, for this edition of VHS Overload. I have really had a good time tonight. You're evil, Mike. Are you evil like the guy on New Year's Evil? Coco, you say, good show, Dana. I've got the crud, head and chest. Oh, you poor thing. Bless your heart. I hope you're feeling better. I hope you get to feeling better soon. Just been listening while hating life. Well, in any event, Coco, I hope you're feeling better. And it's so great to see you in here. But I hate to, but I'm going to have to head on out of here because I got a few things to do before I get some rest for the night. But y'all, be sure to come back the next time I do a stream. I've really enjoyed all the interaction in here tonight. And as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Friday night, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.